Hey, alright, so my project is the term papers on the ethics of artificial intelligence. So there's really a lot that goes into it, so we're gonna go ahead and dive in here. Alright, so, with the creation of AI, there's a lot of responsibility. So, my thoughts, I think there needs to be kind of like a government organization that monitors like what companies that are using AI do in order to prevent people from abusing it. And I think there need to be laws defining what it can't do and not what it can do. Because if you set laws that monitor what AI can do, then that kind of takes away from people's creative freedom. And if there is laws that prevent people from making certain things, then there could be great inventions that are never made from that. And another thing I think is that AI should possibly be open sourced because people can create anything and say it does one thing, but secretly in the background it could be doing something else. So I think open source would allow for it to be, I guess, more honest with people. So for the good of AI, it could create jobs in the programming industry, like a lot of jobs there, which would definitely be an economy boost. It can be used to do menial tasks. It can also be used to do complicated predictions and calculations. It can also be used to train people and help make them smarter. For example, you could have a chess buddy. It's just as simple as like a computer player, just playing you back, and that can be used to help you make you better at chess. AI also has the ability to save lives, which is a great thing, and you can't really argue with the ethics of saving lives unless you're saying survival of the fittest or arguing over population as well. But AI can also be used to find better ways to combat overpopulation. So, some examples for saving lives is Tesla. Their self-driving cars, they can operate free without air, and they can actually teach themselves over time. And one of the arguments with self-driving cars is, well, they don't need to be flawless. They only need to be better than humans are. And I think that's kind of a gray area there because if there is a mistake with one of the cars and it causes a fatal accident or someone to get severely injured, then whose fault is it if they're not flawless? So I think that'd probably have to be the company's fault. And also, like, self-piloting planes, like, that would pretty much remove any, like, air, I guess, from the pilot. But if there is a problem, then whose fault is it? And I'd say it's probably back to whoever put that system in place because they coded it within air. The evil, there's a lot of evil that AI can be used for. That's why I think some sort of government organization needs to be monitoring what AI can do or be used for. But AI can be used to create digital weapons. Some people are even predicting that like the next wars are going to be fought with like digital robots, which is kind of scary. Because if we have digital robots doing all the fighting and someone was able to hack into them, they could use those robots against us. Possible invasion of privacy. Someone could create an artificial intelligence program that simultaneously listens to every single person's text messages, phone messages. If they turn on the microphone on your phone, they could listen to everything you're saying, and the bot could just be going through and deciding whether you're a threat or a good person. and that could flag you in a system. So yeah, digital warfare. People like Elon Musk is really trying to warn the developers of AI systems against this because it's just so dangerous, and it's not a very bright future if we head down that route. And another scary thing is that people creating like digital robot weapons say like the technology isn't that far away, like only a few more years till we can have like robots that fight. And why robots that fight could save, I guess, Americans from having to go into battle and potentially getting injured or dying if those robots make an error and kill an innocent person whose fault is that. And so I'm not sure if I really even think they should be allowed because of the potential downfalls of that. So another thing is just goodbye to all the low-income workers. AI could possibly take millions of low-income jobs away from people, which will just boost a wage gap. So is it ethical to take millions of jobs? Which, that's kind of a hard question to answer. I think if they are taking jobs, there needs to be retraining programs that will train people that are getting their jobs taken away to be able to do other things like help develop these systems. Because like people like McDonald's is saying, they could have one robot that runs the whole building, and it could make the food and then serve the food, and it'd be quicker and cheaper than humans. And it would also operate without air. So they'd save money there, which could possibly create more jobs, because if a robot were to shut down, then somebody's going to have to repair it. So that could be a possibility of a job in the retraining program. So yeah, that's it for that slide. Yeah, so AI can save lives, which is great. They are free of error, unless an error in the code was made by a human. So if there's an emergency situation, they will only react how they are programmed to, which could be good, could be bad. So I think there need to be restrictions set on that. So for example, in a surgery, if a robot was doing it, it could do it flawlessly if it was programmed correctly. But if a human was doing it, there's always a possibility for a human to forget something or not remember to do a certain step, which would create a problem. And something that seems kind of far-fetched, but is a possibility, is robot rights. And so the question is should robots ever be considered human if they can pass like the Turing test? And the Turing test is basically a test that was created to see if the robot can pass it, then it can trick someone into thinking that it's human, even if it's not a human. So, if robots can feel empathy and act like a human, should they be considered one? And personally, I don't think they should, because I don't know how to explain it. I don't think they should. And another thing that's scary is, could robots possibly act out of how they were made to, and kind of go rogue and maybe try and take over the world, which is far-fetched and very doubtful to happen, but it is a possibility with this technology. And so I think there needs to be a government organization that's set in place to monitor this, making sure people aren't using this technology for evil. And that is it. Thank you very much for listening.